Hello, what ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Radio Free Anarchy. I am your host, Trevor Mateus. Been thinking about the metaphor that Jesus uses of children and becoming like children, and the things that I've been thinking about recently are a bit kind of like that. If you think about ways to teach, there's that saying, if you want to feed a man for a day, you catch a fish and feed it to him or whatever. If you want to feed him for you got to teach him how to fish. You have to teach him the thing to do for himself, right? So we all have this thing that each of us has to do for ourselves. Each one of us is responsible for his own self, and each one of us determines by our choices the expression of the dream that is created within our mind as to what is going to best express our version of happiness, our version of existence. But if we try to rethink educating children as if making them a part of the problem-solving part of the equation, because the things that are taught to children are things that have been concluded and experienced by others. And those conclusions and those experiences are going to shape the way that child anticipates experiencing this thing when it becomes their turn in life. If that happens, like, say, for instance, they hear stories about the first time somebody drove the car for the first time, so they have this expectation of what that's going to feel like. It's kind of like that's the idea of what I'm trying to say with children, is that we have the answers to a lot of problems, but we didn't solve the problems, so we don't even know how the problems were solved. So we didn't even exercise that part. We just are beneficiaries of the solution. But we want to create children who imagine and who wonder how something can be done better or differently. And that's how the transformation of society, in my opinion, is going to take place, because to a certain extent, at least, it's going to be something that's new in terms of what people are used to with what education is. Education is determined by the interest and ambition of the student. When the student is ready, when the student has an interest, then we are here for that student to direct that student in ways that student should go, just like an advisor in college or whatever. I'm not going to make the choices for you, but here's this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then they say, well, what about this and this and this? And you're like, well, what do you know about it? Or what can you tell me? Do you like, it's a conversation where you are almost playing the conscience of the person who's talking to himself. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Part of what I'm trying to say is that part of educating a child is putting them in a situation where they have to solve a problem that has already been solved and see how they would solve it. You know? Or you ask a child, do you understand what society is? Yes. Or, do you understand what community is? Yes. Do you understand what government is? Yes. Do you understand why some people think that government is not necessary? Yes. What do you think? How do you think the world should be? How about that? How do you think the world should be? If there were 100, if every single one of your neighbor was just another you, what kind of neighborhood would you have? And by that I mean, we have everybody in the world who's a different person, but we all just get along. We just all get along. What kind of a world would that be if everyone just got along? It would be like The Dude and Groundhog's Day and whatever, but it's just like, it's just chill, man. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. There's just no reason to be bent out of shape. There's no reason to get all bent out of line on this. Like, become like a child. The wave just came up and knocked over your sandcastle. Guess what, bro? You get to do it again.